What's up? Today I'm revealing dropshipping myths, no BS, no dopamine. My goal is that you learn at least one thing in this video. And so if that sounds like a plan, then I'm not here to waste your time. Let's get right started. First myth that I'm exposing is that you can start for free. And now this is already obvious, but I'm going to take it one step further, one step ahead and say if you got less than $1,000 to $2,000 saved up right now, then do not start your own e-commerce project. Do not go ahead and start your own store just because you read somewhere that you can make it happen and with very limited amounts of money. It's not possible, especially if you're trying to get on your own. It's not going to be realistically with today's competition, with how difficult it is today, it's not going to work, obviously. So what I would suggest you do instead is you work for brands. You work as a creative strategist, as a media buyer, as a video editor, graphic designer, whatever. You just make the mistakes without your own money. And that is a huge advantage, because once you then do have like a couple thousand, maybe even 10, 20, 30K saved up, then you can start your own project and go ahead and get into the market and outbeat everyone, all these beginner dropshippers that don't know what they're doing, because you've already seen it, how big brands operate. You've seen it, you know it already, all right? You've worked for them, you know, especially if you've been a creative strategist, if you've been whatever in that a media buyer, right? You know how to run ads, you know how creatives work and how good creatives look like, how to actually make decisions, how to run ads, which is insanely going to give you a very big advantage, all right? And so that's what I would tell you. Or just work as a freelancer. Do freelance jobs for brands, for other dropshippers that are more experienced. Just learn the skill without your own money, because if you don't have that kind of money saved up right now, I don't suggest you get into ecom. And looking back at it, I would have not started it either. I would have, gotten my ego down and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I would have actually learned by these brands. I would have actually went to those brands, applied for jobs, whatever it is, and then learn the skill by doing it. All right. That's what I would highly suggest you do. And don't get into this again, just because someone online said that you can make 100K per month, with $10 saved up. Even organic does not work if you don't have money saved up, whatever strategy you're picking, like especially obviously paid ads. But also affiliates, you have to send them the money. You have to set up everything, the legal setup, all that kind of stuff. And obviously with organic, you have to order the product to your own home and all that kind of bullshit, which is just the VPNs, the phones. Like, people don't talk about that. People say organic is free, but one of my very good friends who does organic actually has like 10 iPhones, and that also costs money. So obviously you're gonna have to be very patient and have to have a lot of money ready to invest in also getting help. And so this is super important, all right? You cannot expect to get into this with $50 and expect good results. You're not going to get any results, and don't waste your time, all right? Work as a freelancer, learn the skills from big brands. And the biggest advantage of that is that you can make mistakes for those brands without your own money. How crazy would that be? If someone came up to me and told me this, I would have instantly done it, because I got into dropshipping and ecom thinking this is possible to, just test some products with $10 here, $10 there, and hope that it works. But this is not how e-commerce really works. If you want to start an actual business, you want to start an actual company, you're gonna want to you're gonna need a couple thousand for every single test. All right, you're gonna need a couple thousand for everything. All right, and this is reality. Like, even if you do have a mentor or whatever, you're going to still make a lot of mistakes. You're going to overspend on ads. That is the point. That is the point of the first creatives testing. You want to figure out what ads don't work, right? Because I promise you, even if you're a perfect marketer, if your creatives are really good, if your products are good, 9 out of 10 creatives are still going to fail every single time. So if you test every single creative with $10 and turn it off after one day, and then call it good, and then move on to the next dropshipping product, go back to ad spy tools and on AliExpress scrolling for hours, of course it's not why are you asking yourself why isn't it working? You can't make the same mistakes again and again and expect different outcomes, different results. All right, so go to brands, learn the skills, work as a freelancer, right? Humble yourself, step back, put your ego aside, and actually then, once you do have money and skills, then start your own project. Myth number 2 that I want to cover is winning products. And I've talked about this a million times on my channel. However, what is very important about this is that people still think that they can test products with, a couple, like $50, $60, $70, and then just like go on one channel, test one angle with, like 5 concepts and not really any variations, and not tracking all the metrics, not having an iteration process when it comes to creatives, and then expect anything to work. Obviously, yes, you can get lucky, but then it's all luck and you're not going to be able to do it again. I promise you. Like, that's the biggest problem. A lot of dropshippers are making money, a lot of dropshippers are getting into the business, are making money once, twice, but then they can't do it ever again. Right? And if that's you, if you've made money in the past, but you're not making money now with ecom, then your problem was that you didn't understand why it worked in the first place. You don't know it, because then you would be able to repeat it. And so shift away from winning products to product market fit. And product market fit has 3 steps. First one, you have to identify the market and validate it, which means you have to validate that there's other people selling that specific product, and why, what market, what angle, like whatever it is. Figure out exactly what you want to sell and who you want to sell it to. Step number 1, you have to understand your customers. Make a customer avatar list before even running your first ad campaign. Very important. Second step is validating the mechanism of the market, which means, does it even work? Does my solution, does my product even provide value? Because it's not about selling stuff. It's about actually having people like the stuff. It's about growing with referrals and word of mouth, not dying because of word of mouth. Very important. All right. So this is a unheard of topic on YouTube. I've never seen anyone talk about this. This is so important. Like, you have to validate the mechanism too. You have to understand if it even works, what you're selling even functions. If it doesn't, then do not sell it. If everyone wants their money back, then fix your shit or stop selling it. All right. Very important. Step number 3 is you have to validate the access channel. What does that mean? Validating the access channel means I have validated the market. I've seen a gap, right? I know where I want to sell to. I know who I want to sell to. Exactly. Customer avatar. I have validated the mechanism, which means I know that my product works, and I know that I can get the people to get that dream outcome with my offer. Now you need to validate what marketing channel can I hop into that not a lot of competition is on, and that allows me to outscale everyone on there. And what does that mean? That means you'll see, okay, everyone is scaling on Facebook. Why not go on TikTok? If everyone's scaling on TikTok and Facebook, why not go on Google? If everyone scales on Pinterest, why not go on Snapchat? All these channels do work and do perform. You just have to figure out where is the least amount of competition, where can I get the biggest amount of market share with the most profits in the beginning, so that I can build myself to having brand awareness and product market fit, so that I can expand onto every single platform. This is what you should ask yourself. So I'm going to repeat it, because I know you probably, if I only say it once, it doesn't stick. Validating the market and validating the product that I want to sell, validating the mechanism so that it even works, right? Figuring out if it even works, and validating the access channel, which means actually figuring out where I want to sell it, what channel, what kind of audiences do I want to target with this? Because I promise you, if you do not do these 3 steps, very hard to make it in e-com, especially nowadays. Like, there's a lot of people even doing this, and most dropshippers are super lazy. They test products with $20. They don't do these steps. They don't know who they're selling to, right? They never even made a customer avatar list. With my brand, what I'm doing is I have actually made a 10-page Google Doc of like who exactly my target audiences are. And do you think I'm still asking myself when I make ads, when I script ads, do I ask myself, okay, what's the best hook? Not at all. Not at all, because I know exactly, I understand them better than they understand themselves. And this is where you want to get to. And if you do this, I promise you it's going to be very easy to sell to people. Then you validate the mechanism. Once you identify that it actually works, it's going to be very easy to sell people again and to get referrals and to grow by word of mouth. And if you validate an access channel where there's not a lot of competition for this niche, for this solution, for this problem, whatever, then that is how you achieve product market fit. By these 3 steps, by executing these 3 things, that's how you validate product market fit. That's how you can achieve it. And it's still going to be hard, and you're still going to fail, and it's still going to be super difficult and annoying, and it's going to suck. But these are the steps, just so you know the theory, and now it's time to actually execute. Myth number 3, right, is that hiring VAs is the way to go, right? You see it everywhere. Agencies that are hiring VAs into your dropshipping stores, people telling you to hire VAs for customer support, hiring VAs for video editing, hiring VAs for graphic design, hiring VAs for media buying, for product research, all these bullshit things. And in my experience, VAs have never worked well, all right? Because if someone comes and offers them 10 cents more an hour, they leave me for them. And that's not an actual business. That's not a loyal employee. And you want people that are talented and that want to grow with you and that actually want to learn and make mistakes and actually are hungry to keep growing with you, so that they one day can actually start their own project. That is a good, talented, loyal employee. That is what that means. And this is exactly what you want, because I promise you, if you pay 10 different VAs that you don't even speak the same language with, like different stuff, if you pay them money and they don't even know what they're doing, they're going to make mistakes, they're going to fuck up, and you can't fix it, all right? You're not going to be able to fix it. You're going to only be able to replace that VA. And VAs can't work. In my opinion, in my experience, VAs have never worked out well, especially the ones which are from especially ones who aren't from very different countries and do not really speak, and we couldn't even communicate well. So that doesn't work. You want to hire talented people. For example, what you could do is a customer relationship manager, a customer success manager. What does that do? Well, he does customer support. He actually figures out what people want. He extends your customer avatar by calling customers all the time, by sending out post-purchase surveys, and actually figuring out all that kind of stuff, right? And you want talent in the beginning that are generalists, that you can place onto 5 different desks, and actually they still get the job done. Because even though talent is more expensive, right, it's going to be worth it. It's going to be a 20x return, even if you pay 5 times the price of a normal employee, especially 100 times the price of a VA, but it's going to get you 20 times the return on an investment, basically, that you spend on talent. And also, if you hire people long term, then you are going to minimize the risk of the business not working without you, which is then going to give you, over time, increase your enterprise value, so that you can one day even sell your store or your business for 7, 8, 9 figures. And that should be the goal. That should be the goal. All right. You don't want to go ahead and just kind of hire bullshit VAs that are very replaceable, right, and not do anything basically, and just would leave you immediately if someone offers them $1 more for their hour of time. Then yes, of course, your business is not going to be valuable, worth anything, because your business doesn't work without you. And that's what you want to exactly move away from. You want to work on the business, not in the business. That should be the long-term goal. Now, how can you achieve that? By hiring people, by having a system where you manage the people that do the actual work, right? If you start to become a manager, a management position in your own business, and actually just delegating what people are supposed to do, where and when, then that's going to make you so much more money, first of all, because you have people doing it for you 5x, 100 times, and I don't care how good you are, you can't outwork 1,000 people, all right? And so this is really the mindset that you have to adapt when it starts to when you start to scale up, and start making more money, because this is really the most important step. This is really the part where it gets difficult, right? Having hard conversations that come with it are going to suck, are going to be difficult, but this is the step of doing it. This is actually how you execute all this stuff. And instead of hiring virtual assistants, I want you to just go ahead and actually look for talent, even if it takes you longer to find it, even if it takes you longer to actually validate it, if it takes you longer to train the right talent. You should want people in your business that want to grow with you and not against you, and not leave you for a little bit more money or a little bit more this and that, all right? You want people that are as hungry as you, and that when you interview them, you learn something about the topic that they should actually do in the business, all right? If that's a very good sign. If they're so good, that's a very good sign. Now, you might ask yourself, why should those people come to me? Very simple. Because those people can make the exact mistakes with your money. So that's a very good argument. This is what I was saying in the beginning of this video. You should learn as a freelancer and work for a brand before you start your own project. And that's exactly what they're doing if you hire talented people. All right. So that's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with hiring people because yes, they They humbled themselves, they humbled their egos, and they actually went working for another person. All right, it's very difficult to become egotistical, especially as a dropshipper, especially if dropshipping is your entire personality. But that's what I would highly suggest you do not do. Okay, that's the next step. Myth number 4 is that you only have one traffic source. And that is a very big myth, is that like basically when you look on Guru YouTube, everyone says, okay, we're only doing organic. And my coaching program is only organic because it's the best, blah, blah. We're only doing Facebook. We're only doing TikTok ads. We're only doing this, that. It's bullshit. Everything works. And in the long run, if you want to stay in this business for over like 6 months or over a year, maybe even run the same store for over a year, then you're going to realize the best way to actually go about this is to have an ecosystem of traffic sources sending you consistent traffic. And then you can look at something which is called your marketing efficiency ratio instead of your return on ad spend on each and every platform. Your marketing efficiency ratio means your total revenue with every traffic source, also organic sources, also email marketing revenue, everything combined, divided by your ad spend or compared to your ad spend. That is your marketing efficiency ratio, right? Your total ad spend, total revenue, right? And obviously, if you have 10 different traffic sources, that marketing efficiency ratio is going to look much better than if you only are on Facebook. And if we face reality, if you're running Facebook ads, then a 30% fluctuation, which is very normal, can actually, for most brands, means the difference between very profitable and very non-profitable and losing a lot of money, all right? And so if you don't want to literally lose money if you're running a big business, then you have to have multiple traffic sources. And especially word of mouth and referrals are a very big topic that plays into this, because if word of mouth doesn't work like for you, then it's working against you. There's no neutral word of mouth. It's either working extremely with you or extremely against you. And I'd highly suggest that it works, that you make it work for you. And how do you do that? You actually provide people a very good customer journey, customer experience, a very high product quality. This is how you manage to do this. If you do not do this, then word of mouth is going to work very intensively against you and against your business, and that is going to impact everything. And then you're going to like drop your product and switch products every single time, go back to step 0, and then you're asking yourself every single time, why are my prices dying? Why are my ad costs inflating after a couple of weeks or months? Well, this is exactly the reason why. Because then once everything slows down, once the refunds start coming in, once the chargebacks, once the payment providers start annoying you, once your ad account gets disabled, then you just, oh, you know what? I'm just going to switch to a different product, all right? And you jump from shiny object to shiny object. You jump from product to product. You go back to step 0, and you never make something big out of your product market fit. And that should be the thing that you're not supposed to do. You should actually focus on having an ecosystem, looking at your marketing efficiency ratio, building out retargeting like Google ads, like email marketing, SMS marketing, bottom of funnel traffic on Meta, right? All that kind of stuff. And then also organic sources, which are affiliates, which are, influencers, which are, your own organic profiles, right? All that kind of stuff also plays into your revenue. And then you compare that to your total expenses, and that's your marketing efficiency ratio. And that is very important, that you shift away from just depending on your Facebook ROAS to actually like depending on your marketing efficiency ratio. And you're going to have such an easier life because you're going to be so much more profitable, right? Because fluctuations don't come together. Like a fluctuation on Facebook doesn't mean you're going to have a fluctuation on Google, or the other way around. So that means if you have this, you're going to be so much more profitable in total. And what's also important about these ecosystems is that every single traffic source, if you do have an ecosystem, profits from each other, which means your Facebook traffic profits from organic, and the other way around too. You're just going to build up your brand awareness so much more, and that's going to make you so much more money. And I promise you that. I'll give you that in writing. So stop looking at your ROAS, stop only being on one channel, stop, don't giving a shit about your customers, but actually have multiple traffic sources, have referrals, have good word of mouth, and actually grow your business over the long run without having to drop the product, drop your brand name, because people are ashamed of even saying your brand name, and then jumping from the next product that you find on some bullshit ad spy tool, and then testing 500 products again, losing our money, and maybe you get lucky the second time. It doesn't work like that. right? But that's reality for most dropshippers. Trust me, I'm seeing it right now. I'm seeing it. Most people do not do it right. And I want to actually motivate you and push you to do this the right way and actually focus on one thing until it works. All right. Myth number 5 is that you should not get help. And I'm going to tell you a very quick story about this. Most successful people that I know had actually the most mentors, most events, and most masterminds that they paid, like everything that you could imagine. All right. So getting into this, maybe even without, working as a freelancer or at a brand, no experience, expecting it to work if you get no help is not only ridiculous, but it actually proves that your ego is way too big right now. I promise you that. You think you know way too much. Your ego is your enemy right now. Like, not getting help is ridiculous. In e-commerce, if you don't invest in that kind of stuff, not in e-commerce, every business, in everything, even if you want to lose weight, then invest in a fitness coach. Because those people, learning from other people's mistakes, and that allows you to save up money, not lose money. It's not lost money. You don't try it on your own and say, oh, I saved money on, I didn't spend on a mentor. No, you're going to lose a lot more money. And I made the same mistake. I'm not telling you this that you should buy my mentorship. I'm telling you this because I made this mistake myself. In the beginning, first 6 months, I didn't have a mentor and I lost a bunch of money. I lost so much money. Then I humbled myself. I realized, okay, let's invest in a mentor. And it worked. It fucking worked. After 2 months, after getting my mentor, after finishing the mentorship, I found my first winner. I don't think it's a coincidence. And I also don't think it's a coincidence that hyper successful people actually spend so millions of dollars on masterminds, on mentors, on events that they attended. They organized, right? Why do you think there's so many people giving speeches and events and workshops and all that kind of stuff? Look at Alex Ramosi. Do you think Alex Ramosi never had a mentor? Bro, he had hundreds probably. I'm still investing in mentors because I know I've learned myself. I made the mistake myself that not having someone that helps you is just the most ridiculous thing that you can do in life. Learn from other people's mistakes. And yes, they're not going to help you for free. Yes, you're going to have to spend money for their time and for their information, for their skills. Yes, but it's the best way to do it. And a pro tip about this is that if you know an agency, which is very good, then instead of using their service, actually pay the basically the founder or a very good employee of the founder in that agency to kind of have a one-on-one session with them as a mentorship instead of paying for their agency service, and actually ask them everything that you want. So how do they do that? And then apply it to your own stuff. That's a very good way of actually using agencies, not actually paying for their service, because agencies, let's face it, business model is very interesting and nothing that's very volatile. Agencies, I'm a true believer that agencies, or most, I would say 90% of agencies will not exist in a couple of years from now, right? And there's a reason why 9 out of 10 agencies fail, all right? Very good ones, obviously, yes. There's the agencies, the interesting thing is there's extremely good ones, and then there's tons of bad ones, terrible ones. There's nothing in between. And yes, the very good ones are going to exist forever, right? But if you're one of the bottom ones, if you don't know what they're doing, that's the thing. One more thing. If you're thinking about getting into ecom, I'm watching this video right now, and the other option is you get into SMMA because some guru said that. Do not do it because you don't have any skills. Don't scam people. If you don't know what they're doing, what do you want to do? You run their ads, but you've never ran ads before? That is scam. That is scam, even if you manage to sell them your service. Do not scam people, all right? So don't start an agency if you don't know shit, if you don't have skills. Very important, all right? So yeah, that's the thing. Get help as much as possible. I still do it to this day. Very important. Just get help and humble yourself regularly, and always stay a student, all right? Because there will always be better next steps, next big mentors that you can learn from. So this is a very important topic, and you should never ever underestimate it. I personally think having someone that can just tell you, look over your situation, and just tell you and point you into the right direction is the single very most helpful thing that you can do in business, especially in a hyper competitive business model like e-commerce. All right. Next thing, winning ads. All right, winning ads is a very big myth. It's bullshit, because winning ads, if you think in winning ads same way as in think winning products, then you're gonna just throw noodles at a wall and see what sticks. And that's not what we want. We want to have an iteration process to make our ads winning, to turn our ads profitable. If you're working iteratively in your ads, in your creative system, then what's gonna happen is every ad is theoretically possible to make profitable. You're just gonna look at the metrics, just ask yourself for every single one, how can I make it profitable? How long is it gonna take? How much money will I have to invest to make this ad, this specific ad creative, profitable? And if you look at it this way, you're gonna realize, okay, I have 10 ads right now, right? I have 10 ads that I tested, maybe with 3 variations each. So that means I've tested 30 creatives, and you realize some of them have a good hook rate, but then nothing really happens. Then you just know you just have to take that hook and make something out of it. And if you work like that every single time, not only once, this is a process of like iteration until you make it profitable. Even if it takes you 15 creative tests to make a specific ad concept profitable, then it does. And then you're not gonna throw just stuff at a wall and see what sticks, right? Because it's not enough to just, okay, well, I'm gonna stop testing products, I'm gonna start testing content, but you still don't work iteratively, you still don't improve your ads every single test, you still don't track the metrics and you look at them and you improve, then it's still not gonna work, probably, because then it's still luck. Testing random concepts and then moving on to different ad concepts is the same thing. It's literally the same thing as testing products. And then, because so don't think you're anything better if you're already, don't think you're doing it right if you're already like moved away from winning products to winning content, and like to test content instead of products, because that's still not enough. It's still not enough. You still need to make variations every single test, and you still need to make your ads profitable. And Alex Hormozi said this, which kind of opened my eyes there. He said when he makes ads, he's spending 80% of his time working and improving and refreshing already proven winning ads. 80%. And just 20% is actually only new concepts, right? So obviously, this should prove to you that once you do have a concept that you've tested and you see the metrics of not only the click-through rate and CPM and the CPC, but actually also the hook rate, the hold rate, the 25% video views, the 50% video views, the 75% video views, if you track all this stuff, then you're just going to be able to look at what's happening on your ad account and to make variations. And if you test the same concept with 500 different variations and actually like 100 each creative test, and then you track the metrics every single time, then I promise you're going to be profitable. It doesn't matter, even if it's a fidget spinner. All right? It doesn't matter what it is. You can make everything work. You just have to test a whole bunch of stuff and work iteratively. And yes, you're going to lose a bunch of money on this. Well, if you do this, you're going to lose hella money. But this is how it works. This is how creatives work. It's just that brands do this at a high level, and they just have so much cash to work with in the business so that they can afford these tests, so that they can afford losing $10,000 on a creative test, because if they then find a new winning ad which can then hold like multiple thousands of dollars in spend every single day for months, then it was worth it to them. And this is how you should look at it. You're not losing money if you're testing ads. You're figuring out what to improve on and what to just drop. That is a creative test. And if you're testing ads, you just want to know what is not going to work. And then everything that shows potential, you look at the metrics, you track everything possible, and then you improve on that. This is how brands usually operate. This is how you should operate too. If you actually want to stay in the business long term, if you want to make it long term than just being lucky once, that ad creative burning out in a couple of weeks and then not being able to make it again. Because again, this is reality for most dropshippers, for most people in ecom. They find one good thing, find a winner, and then they never are able to make it again. Because they don't know why it worked in the first place. They don't know how to work iteratively in their creative process. You don't just want to throw 1,000 noodles at a wall and see what sticks. That's ridiculous. It's not the way to go. It's not actually a long-term business if you think about it that way. And obviously, it's the same thing with organic too. If you're an organic dropshipper, you can't expect to film 500 videos, like with all due means. Like, you can't expect to just film 500 videos and have some random Andrew Tate picture in the background so that you pray it goes viral and then call that a business. Like, come on, like, you have to have a system behind this. This is so important. All right. Myth number 7 is that you have to have a beautiful website. All right. And this is something which especially beginners, but also pretty advanced people sometimes say. And I don't really understand it, because when I split tested a beautiful website against a very terrible one with the same offer, performance was very similar. It was not a big difference in performance, and even social proof was very different. All right. So that proved to me that the single most important thing on your website is your offer. Whether you like it or not, it's actually a lot of times, especially in dropshipping, not e-com brands specifically, but especially a lot of dropshippers, very experienced dropshippers, don't put a lot of their time into actually making a beautiful website. In fact, they understand that websites don't have to be beautiful. It's oftentimes the most ugliest websites that you've seen that actually do exceptionally well. And the reason for that is that websites that are super ugly, oftentimes from very experienced dropshippers, have very strong offers. All right. So the topic that I want to cover now is the offer. You have to have a cold, friendly offer. Cold friendly offer means it's able to convert unaware audiences. So that means if you, for example, let's say you have buy one t-shirt for $19.99, and let's say that t-shirt is available in a white, black, and blue. All right. Now, that would not be a cold friendly offer. If it's just like buy one, 50% off for 40 to 20. That's not a cold friendly offer. Cold friendly offer is $40, buy two, get one free, try all colors bundle, right? With a 30-day money back guarantee, sale ending at midnight, all that kind of stuff. You get what I'm saying. All right. So it should be able to not only convert cold audiences, but also you should be able to then with it charge much higher prices. That is the goal of a cold friendly offer, to be able to be so profitable front end immediately after getting a sale that you can spend much more on customers and immediately outbid people in your market, which means your competitors. You can outbid them by just having a better offer. Now, probably the most important topic when it comes to offers is not the value equation, which is very important also, but like the most important thing is split testing. It's a very important topic, and I can't stress it enough because I still don't see a lot of people split testing because they say the Shopify apps cost too much. Like, come on. It's not about that, all right? A/B testing, split testing in every business model is the single most important stuff that is out there. And I know people that test 5 offers a week. So chances are if you test one a month, it's still not enough, right? If you want to scale, and also mindset thing, which is very important, the first price that you set for a product is never going to be the last one. It's never going to be your last price. Right? It might not even be the same offer structure. So when you start testing stuff, I would immediately go ahead and start with a very broad test. So 2 different offer structures against each other, which could be low upfront, high shipping versus bundle discount or buy one, get one free, right? Very different structures. And you just go ahead and then move on to the one that worked. Let's say buy one, get one worked. All right, then you're going to do a buy one, get one versus a buy one, get one 50% off. Or you might do buy one, get one on both, but a different free gift, whatever, right? And so what's very important is that the beauty of your website does not matter at all. It's a lot of times these very ugly websites work super well just because the offer is presented in a very good way and the offer itself is super good. And so you should always enhance your offers, your structures with guarantees, bonuses, scarcities, urgency. That's it. These are all the forms that you can enhance offer with. All right. So obviously bonuses are free gifts. You can have as many as you want. Guarantees, you should be having a very creative, well-named, better guarantee than everyone else. Scarcity, you should put a limit amount on your sale or whatever you're running. You don't just have to say we only have 10 pieces in stock. You could also, for example, go ahead and say we're only sending this free gift out for the next 100 orders. So you combine bonuses with scarcity. And urgency is just setting a time limit to your sale. So you could say sale ends at Valentine's Day, sale ends at midnight, all that kind of stuff. That is urgency, and all these things will boost the traction and the resonance with your offer basically even more. All right, very important topic. Beauty of your website does not matter. Myth number 8 is that you should follow the rules, and then what the gurus say is the right thing to do. And that's not the case, because every time I did the exact opposite, I'm talking about a little bit different, the exact opposite of what the gurus were telling me on YouTube, then it worked. All right. So you should stop listening to gurus, stop listening to like people that like obviously don't have the right intentions for you. If someone doesn't want to actually help you, then it doesn't make sense to listen to their advice. If they just want you to buy their course, then of course they're going to say stuff that makes you want to buy their course. You should always question what, not only who is the advice coming from, but also what is the intention of that piece of advice every single time. Also on this video, right? I'm also like, I'm aware that I'm, spreading information that would technically make me a guru. So you should also ask the advice that comes from me. All right. So what's very important here is that you have to stop following the rules, because I promise you, there are no rules. A lot of people play by rules that do not exist, and you included. You play by rules that don't exist. This is something which I've said before. Like, and as an example, I don't care how good you are. I don't care how much leverage you got. Like, I don't care how good your network is. You can't outwork 1,000 people. Doesn't matter what skill it's about. You can't work. Maybe you can outwork 10, maybe 50, but you can't outwork 1,000. And so people are leverage. And so, for example, if the gurus tell you, oh, don't start hiring people until you're at 500K a month, bullshit. Start hiring people, start networking, start working together with people as soon as you can. All right? Very important. Another example, I was talking to a student, I mentioned this in another video previously before, but I was talking to a student of mine, and I was, suggesting, do this as a free gift, do this as a free gift, do this as a free gift. We're talking about the offer, right? And then he looked at me and said, multiple free gifts? That can't be the case. Like, isn't that scammy? And then just because some random guru on YouTube once said that you cannot have more than one free gift, he thinks that. And he was so sure that you can only have one free gift. Like, it was a normal thing. Like, he woke up and thought you can only have one free gift. Like, that's crazy. Think about this. You're playing by rules all the time that do not exist at all. And just because, even if the guru that says that thing, whatever it is, even if you respect them, even if you like them, even if it's an Alex Ramosi saying that, all right, whatever, these rules still do not exist. You're still playing by rules that don't exist. I want you to understand that. And it's very important, because a lot of people just kind of like follow advice blindly just because the person is already there or closer to their goals than they are. But you should not only question, like I said before, question the advice that you're getting, or question who's that advice coming from, but also question what is the intention behind that advice. And you can follow rules, because if you do what everyone else is doing, that you will get the results that everyone else gets. It's as simple as that. Normal people get normal results. Weird people get weird results. And that's what I've seen. And I'm going to repeat that because it's very important. When I did the exact opposite of what gurus were saying, all of a sudden it started working. And I'm really meaning the exact opposite, not even like a little bit different. So that should prove to, and try it. You don't have anything, like if you don't make money now, what do you have to lose? Just try it. You don't have anything to lose anyways. Just try it. Go ahead, try it. If it doesn't work, then okay, I'm going to try this. But don't blindly follow guru advice. Question even this video, like what you're watching right now. All right? These things I'm telling you now, this is advice. This is what worked for me personally. You don't have to follow this at all. These are not rules. There are 100 ways that you can make this work, that you can make ecom work, that you can make money. There are millions of ways that you can make money. This is what worked for me. That's all I can say. I'm not, I don't know everything. This is what worked. These are the ways, the steps that worked for me, and how I would approach it looking back. As simple as that. Whether you want to execute that or not, up to you. All right? Very important. Super important, actually. All right? Don't follow the rules, and don't just blindly follow guru advice. Myth number 9 is that you should stop learning at some point. And this is a very interesting one, because I have never thought about this myself this way, especially when it started working. Just when I got my mentor, I always thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to invest in mentors for the rest of my life. That was an eye-opening moment for me. When I started listening to other people and learning from other people's mistakes, insane, much better than just learning from your own mistakes. Very important, and you should absolutely go ahead and execute this right now. All right? Because this is super important to understand. If you, for the rest of your life, like let's say you make it, let's say once you start making money, all right? Let's say you make it in e-com, you have a store which is printing you like 30K a month, 1K days consistently. You can do it again and again with different products. You have the skills down, kind of, you know what you do. There's still so much more to get. There's still so much to learn. Like 30K a month, what is that? Like 8K profit? Come on, there's so much more to get, so much more to learn. There's always people that are ahead of you, that know more than you, right? That's why I still invest in mentors, because I don't believe in just being finished and just making the mistakes myself. I believe in learning from other people's mistakes. Stay a student. This is a whole chapter in this book right here. Ego is your enemy. It's one chapter is called Stay a Student. And if that doesn't tell you anything, like, come on, like, you have to always stay a student. It doesn't matter how much you know. It doesn't matter how much money you make. There's people making more than you. There's more intelligent people than you. There's more experienced people than you. There's people with different, better, more thought through views on the world, on the business, on your business, whatever, than you. And you should absolutely invest in them. Every possibility, every opportunity that you get, even if it's a bad mentor. I've had mentors, I've had multiple, and I've made decisions in the past that I thought in the beginning, oh my God, I regret this. This is not what I thought it was going to be. But I still am grateful because I learned a couple things from that experience too. So I am always going to take every opportunity, and I'm a very open person. It's not hard to sell me for mentorship, for example, or for a mastermind, for an event, a marketing event, a meetup, whatever, right? A network. It's not hard to sell me because I know that it's the only best single way to get ahead and cut the learning curve and to not make the mistakes yourself, right? There's 3 stages to this. Most stupid people, they don't learn from their mistakes. Smart people learn from their mistakes, and geniuses learn from other people's mistakes. And, again, I'm going to say this again, like the most successful people I know are the ones who spent the most on masterminds, spent the most on events, spent the most on mentors and time from other people that had more information, more skills, more knowledge, more experience than them in a specific area that they wanted to learn more about. And that's not lost money, never. Even if it's a bad experience, it's never lost money, and you should never stop learning. You should never stop being a student. Like I said, there's always going to be people that are better, that know more, that are smarter. So this is very important. Myth number 10 is that you should keep consuming content. And this is quite the opposite of what I was telling before, because now I just said, don't stop learning, never stop learning, never stop being a student. And now I'm saying to stop consuming content. But the thing is, content is a very interesting topic because you don't lack strategy, you lack execution. And I don't believe in video courses too, for example. I don't invest in video courses, even though I invest a lot in mentors, because video courses aren't a very individual thing. And if video courses actually wanted to work, they technically would have to be millions of hours long. Because as an entrepreneur on your journey, you're going to face new problems that you've never seen before every single day, not once, but 100 times a day. So you can't expect to have a video course that kind of works and that kind of covers everything, because an individual mentorship is always going to help you out a million times more than a course, right? And so stop consuming content, because content is the same thing as a course. It's not actually helping you. It feels super productive, and that's why a lot of beginners do it. That's why a lot of beginners are distracted so much with content, and why they're so grateful for content. But content is nothing. The advice that I give is nothing if you don't execute it. And most people don't lack strategy, they lack execution. Because imagine this, you give 100 actors the same script. How many of those are going to get the job? Only one. And it's the same script. It's the same strategy. If you watch a video that has 1 million views on how to run Facebook ads, only a couple of those millions are going to actually make money with Facebook ads. Do you know why? All of those millions of people that saw that video had the same strategy. And you can look how many views this video has right now. Everyone that watches this video right now has the same strategy, same information, but not all of them are going to get it done. Not all of them are going to make something out of it. Strategy and advice is worth nothing. Execution is what makes you money. Execution is what makes you successful. And I've seen that too. Myself, I've made the mistake of buying courses too. It never helped me. Never. Doesn't matter who the course came from. Courses are usually something which is called lead magnets. To get people to watch that course so that the people are very grateful, right? Are like, oh my God, this is so cool, so valuable, so that they can then sell you for their actual stuff. This is what a course does. All right? So stop consuming content in a way of like, okay, this is actually going to help me. And then hence you should stop consuming content overall, because why would you consume it if it doesn't help you? It feels very productive, and I get why you're doing it. It feels much better than watching Netflix, but it's the same thing. For your business, in the long run, it's the same thing as you would just like sit on the hub or sit on whatever, like for Netflix and watch everything all day, like not be productive at all, basically. And it's the same thing. It does the same thing for your pocket, for your business. Think about it, because this is a very important topic. And even this video I know is a piece of content. And I'm truly convinced that this video will not help you if you, after this video, don't change your behavior. Because if you don't change your behavior after watching this video, then guess what? How much have you learned? Nothing. You've learned nothing. You've learned 0 things in this video, because learning is just same situation, new behavior. So now that you have all this that I'm talking about in this video, and you go out there and try it on your own, and you're presented with the same situation, same challenge, and you have not changed your behavior, then you've learned nothing in this video. And this is an hour-long video. So you've wasted an hour of your precious time if you don't execute this. And I want to be very real with you. Not only this video, but every single piece of content on YouTube that you've watched, if you don't change your behavior, you have not learned from it. And this is why content is a very important thing to kind of, and that's why I say this in almost every video, by the way, because I want you to actually learn in the practical word and actually learn from people's mistakes one-on-one, and not watching content, not buying courses, because that's a waste of not only time, obviously, but also can be a waste of money as well. And that's exactly what you do not want to do now. Courses do not work. Never will. Courses exist because they, not only because they're lead magnets, like I said before, but also because they're one-to-many solutions for these gurus, so they make them a shit ton of money. If someone sells their video course for $400, then he has to record that once, right? And then every single sale that he gets on that course, he doesn't have to do any fucking work. It's passive income, every sale that comes after that. So yes, it's a smart thing if you're a guru with a big platform to make a video course for your own pocket, but for you watching this video, who's actually doing it himself, it's not a very interesting, smart thing to consume it, to buy it. All right. So this is what you should get from this video. Stop actually consuming content, and especially courses. Like, come on, you're better than that. Myth number 11 is shiny objects. And shiny objects is a very important topic, because the higher up you get in business, the more attractive the possibilities and the opportunities will get that are presented to you. So what is very common is, in the beginning, obviously, no one's going to want to work with you, right? In the beginning, you don't have any leverage, don't have money, you don't have people, you have nothing, basically. The beginning, so obviously in the beginning, when you start out, no one's going to want to work with you. No one. And then as you progress and get better and better and better, more and more people will start being around you all of a sudden, and more people will want to, not only learn from you, but also work for you, work with you, and present you opportunities that get better and better and better. And the problem is that, like I just said, since the problems get better and better and better, it gets increasingly more difficult to say no. But saying no is the most important skill across every successful entrepreneur. Like the richest people out there are the ones who say no to almost everything. And I don't not only mean, like, by the way, business opportunities. I also mean to their friends. Like, do you have time to hang out? No. Do you have time for this? No. Hey, let's start this company. I know 1,000 people and I have millions of dollars, so it's 100% going to work. No. Because you have to be focused on your own shit. Doesn't matter how attractive the opportunity gets. And I want to prepare you, because these things will get increasingly more and more attractive. It will happen. These shiny objects, that's what it's called. It's called the shiny object syndrome. Look it up on Google after watching this video. It's a real thing. It's a real syndrome. It's a sickness. And the higher you up and get in business, the more attractive these shiny objects will become. And the more harder it will be to say no, to keep saying no. And even if you say no to everything, they will still come back. And the options will still get better and better and better and better and better and better. So one thing which you could do is actually look at it in a way of like, okay, you know what? This seems like a pretty fucking good opportunity, but I'm going to wait, because there's going to be a better one. The better I get on my own stuff, the better I will get. And the second you do take such a thing, like, you've lost, because then you've split up your time and your efforts and everything, your heart, into two different projects, and then nothing's going to work. Because there's with teams of 100 people that all work with 100% of their effort on their one project. You're alone and you're doing 50-50 and you're competing with those people. That's not possible. Okay? So don't jump from opportunity to opportunity. If something is too good to be true, then it probably is, right? And you just have to stop basically looking at these shiny objects in a way of like, is this actually cool? No, it should become you should develop these reflexes of like saying no. No should be coming out of your mouth 100 million times a day. It is what it is. Most people say no to everything. Like, most successful people say no to everything except their own stuff. Because if you are truly 100% in on something, with your own like heart and with your own time, money, everything, only on one thing, then it's going to work out. But once you try balancing 3 different things, if you put in 30% input, you're going to get 30% results. It is what it is. And these things are compounding, which means that after a year or 5 years or 10 years, you're not only going to get 30% of the results, you might get only 1%, and the other one is 1,000%. So these things compound. Everything that you do in life compounds, especially your name. It compounds. Trust me. So always be a good person and never jump from shiny objects. So never also insult people for presenting you opportunities, because they also want to level up. Obviously, they want to use you to level up, and they have a life as well. So don't judge them for it, but just say no in a respectful way. Say thank you for the opportunity. Be respectful, because you never know what the future gets you, and say no. This is how you handle shiny objects. And you don't just put your fingers in your ear and like start getting aggressive if someone offers you an opportunity, but you just respectfully say no to every shiny object that is presented to you. And that's what I've seen is the best way to handle this kind of stuff. And again, the higher up you get in business, the better you get, the more of these shiny objects are going to be presented to you, and the more important it gets to say no and to keep saying no. And it's not easy to say no. It's a skill. Saying no is also a skill. No, it sounds funny, but it is a skill. It is something which you can get better at. Not only that you say no, but also how you say no, because you want to be remembered as a positive human being always. All right. So that's why, for example, if in your business someone asks for a refund, then you just give it to them, right? Because you're like, there's no point. Your name compounds a lot, right? If there's one thing which we keep for decades, right? Even if it's not the same business model, one thing we do keep is our name. And that's what you have to do. You have to always be remembered in a good way and just respectfully always say no. And myth number 12 is that you have to raise your standards. And what do I mean by this? Raising your standards means that the moment someone else has higher standards than you about your business, then he would be a better leader than you are. So you gotta raise your input standards and your output standards, the results, but also what you put in. Because it's very easy to get complacent after you start increasing your leverage, start having better outputs. So you have to have better standards, higher standards than everyone else. And this is an example which I talked about on YouTube before, but I always used to say with one of my old mentors, we always used to sit in calls and say, yo, you know what? Like, if we only made enough money with ecom that we could like replace a full-time job, like how sick would that be? Like, let's say we made like 3K a month. You know, let's say we made $3,000 a month. That's sick. Why do I need a Lambo for? But then you reach that and you realize it's not enough because there's no maintenance in business. You either grow faster than everyone else or you die. And when I realized how much work it actually took to get to 3K profit a month, I realized that's not what I want. I want much more than this. For the amount of work that I've put in, for the amounts of sleepless nights that I put in just for 3K, like just for 3K, you're much better off with a full-time job, much better than with being an entrepreneur. It's not the easy way out. I gotta break your belief there. It's absolutely not an easy way out. So you have to raise your standards. You have to go so hard and a million times expect more than everyone else. And that is exactly when you do start seeing better results. Because let's say I'm going to give you a gym analogy for all the gym bros out there. Let's say you do bench and you want to do, you say, you put 225 on the bar and you're going to tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do 3 reps. Then you might hit 3, you might hit 2, whatever. But if you're truly convinced that you're going to hit 10, then you might hit 4 or 5. So your standards determine how much you achieve. And so you have to raise them constantly, not only once now, but actually weekly. Weekly raise your standards and watch your results go up. All right. I want to say thank you for giving me your most important assets, which are your time and your attention. And I truly mean this. And with that being said, guys, I hope you can learn something. And I wish you a beautiful day.